and good evening. This is Doc Severson for the ReadySetCrypto Premium Newsletter Market Update for Thursday, July 19th. Just a couple of things I want to bring up tonight to make you aware of. Okay, so notice all this activity up around the 7,500 to 7,750 area, as much as 7,800. Okay, so this is actual resistance. This is overhead supply and resistance. That is what that represents here, because when you have movements like this, that doesn't really represent any kind of resistance, or this doesn't represent any kind of resistance. Notice how quickly it blew right through there, and notice how we're starting to see on Bitcoin here, we are starting to see a little reaction and things are slowing down on the move up. So this all makes sense. It's totally normal, and this is actually preferable. We don't want to see it continue going higher just yet. There is a flow behind these things. There is sort of a rhythm behind these, and what we'd say is that range expansion like this leads to range contraction, which leads to range expansion again. So what I'd like to see in a perfect world here is I'd like to see Bitcoin just kind of consolidate in a very tight little flag here until such time that we see the energy. This is exhaustion down here. I want to see the energy build back up again. And when I say energy, what I mean is that linear movements like this, and the CHOP index measures the linearity of the movement. This is an extraordinarily linear move. You can almost put a ruler on this thing. It's like a piece of string going straight up. And that's a linear move, and that takes a lot of energy out of a chart. This is precisely what builds it up again. This type of movement like this, where it goes nowhere. This is non-linear movement. So what I want to see is an exact copy of that right up here. I want to see this non-linear movement just kind of walking around up in that area. And that will build up the energy again. And we can look for perhaps a breakout above and beyond that level up there, which is about 7,800. Because that's the only way it's going to happen. It's not going to just keep going like this. That will not happen, especially in this environment right now. What it's going to have to do is it's going to have to set it up. And oh, by the way, we have our favorite time coming up tomorrow, which is futures contract short squeeze weekend. Unfortunately, this is too soon. So I think we're going to have to wait another week before we're going to have a setup which favors an upside squeeze in exactly the same kind of manner that we saw this happen last weekend. So that's kind of, again, that's a proxy for the overall environment. We're seeing some coins, down just slightly or so. We're seeing some that are up good. Actually, Stellar is very strong, has been very strong. Look at the volume in this, but also look at the exhaustion down here. So this is unlikely to continue going higher for right now until it consolidates. So in the top 10, kind of a mixed bag right now. Again, the market leader Bitcoin is up about 1%. We have Stellar up 4%, which is good. The rest of these are just, again, when it comes to crypto, something down 1%, 2%, 3%, that is not a big deal. That's an enormous move in the equity markets. 1%, you'll have all the pundits talking for days about something like that. In crypto, it's just another day. Now, coming down to the screener, this is something I want to do all the time, just about every day. So I want to come down here, and guess what? A couple of our friends that we've been looking at lately, such as Digibyte and Whitecoin. Look at these guys. So right up there in the screener, these guys are up 10, 11%. So let's go take a look at these. And actually, there's some really nice setups available here. Now, I talked about Digibyte a week ago, and I said, okay, this thing is blown up here, and what I want to see it do, and go back and check if you want to, but what I said is I want to see this consolidate in the near term. Well, guess what? It's done exactly as requested, and it's building up energy, and I'd say probably by tomorrow it's going to be good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an alert right up there, and I'm going to write myself a note and say go long. And if it does, if it breaks that, it's by tomorrow it's going to have enough energy. It's going to make a valid long. I want to go long on Digibyte versus Bitcoin. And so if I do actually get that trade off, if it happens during some time where I'm not sleeping, then I will send out a telegram and let you guys know. But otherwise, just consider yourself on warning. What I would do yourselves is put the alert in there. Go ahead and put the alert. It's not that hard to do, right? Don't look for me to enter the trade. By the time that you enter it, after you see my note, it'll be too late by then. So start to get used to putting these alerts in and take responsibility for some of these setups. But I love everything about this. Love everything about this. I mean, we have the right trend. We have range expansion, range contraction. This has a very high probability of running into range expansion again. So we're seeing accumulation. Look at the volume coming in. Look at the volume. This is what we've been needing for all of these. So that's Digibyte. The other one is Whitecoin. Whitecoin has been doing really well. Okay, so we talked about this one yesterday, and we said range contraction, range expansion. This one's, it's not, you know, right now it's coming up. This is actually building a coupled handle pattern. Coupled handle patterns are kind of cool because you get this big base that sets up like this. The price comes up to the neckline again, fades back a little bit. By this time, the energy builds up again, and we look for the breakout. So this one's maybe about a week away from coming out of the cup with handle pattern. The target for these is the distance from the bottom of the cup, or the base here, up to the neckline. So from the bottom of the base, and what we can do is just kind of draw the projection up to there, wherever that ends up being, right? So we can pull this down and rescale it if we want to, and pull that out. But that might be a swing that you're in for a couple of weeks once this breaks out. So definitely would wait for this to consolidate and look for the breakout above the neckline, and then take yourself in long. So we'll get to that one perhaps in the next week or so. All right, folks, that is it for tonight's report. I wanted to keep this one neat and tidy. I do have a number of reader questions that came in today that I'd like to address over the weekend, so I'll be doing that. So more than likely that edition will be coming out on Sunday. So we'll see you then. Have a great weekend, folks. Take care.